This is going to be your Instant Pot Zuppa Toscana tutorial. I have everything prepped before I start. I have sliced my potatoes into 1/4-inch slices, basically, like potato chips. I have taken the sausage out of the casing already and have it in a bowl. And I have minced my onion. I don't have the cream or the kale out yet, as I add that last. I know you use real garlic, I use that. We're going to start by putting the pot on saute more, and we're going to let that heat up. And once it says hot, I shall add 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then I'll add my onions. I have 1 pound of mild sausage, which is 5 links, and 3 links of hot sausage. Instant Pot says hot. I'm going to add my 2 tablespoons of oil. Slosh it around. Doesn't matter as much. I'm going to add my onions. Okay, my onions are sauteed. I'm going to put in all the sausage. And I'm going to stir and cook that sausage for 5 minutes until it is all brown. To break up the sausage with your wooden spoon. See how I've broken it up a little bit? And I'm just waiting until it's brown. Now I have to stir constantly because you do want to get it to brown. So you'll give it a quick stir every little bit. You might find it takes a little longer than 5 minutes because we're using more sausage than the original recipe calls for. Okay, now this is where you're going to differ than what I do because you're using fresh garlic. Once your sausage is browned, go ahead and add your garlic into it and cook for another minute to minute and a half. After you've cooked your garlic into it for a minute or a minute and a half, I do like to now strain the grease out of the sausage. I will now turn saute off. There's my sausage. It's in a strainer. And I'm actually going to push down with my wooden spoon and make sure I strain all the extra fat out. That's how much fat is in there. Still draining some out. I have now returned my sausage mixture to the pot. At this time, I want you to note there is a maximum fill line on your Instant Pot. Once you add liquid, you do not want to be above that maximum line. That is about 1.5 boxes of the chicken broth. Now I'm going to add my potatoes. Notice there's our max line. Okay, as you can see, there's quite a lot of potatoes in there. I want to add and added just a little more liquid. I like the liquid pretty much covering the potatoes. Soup is pretty generous. There's my max line. I'm now going to add 1/4 cup of water for the recipe. Note, I always have a ton of potatoes left over. Here we go. We're going to put the lid on. We're going to close it. I'm going to move the seal that's open to close. We're going to hit pressure cook. And we're going to do 5 minutes. Okay. And then after the 5 minutes, it's going to do a 10-minute natural release. Please note, you now know it's starting to build up to pressure because both your little fiery sign is up and the P line, the P symbol is there. So that tells you it's getting ready to start building pressure. At this time, if I don't already have cut up kale, I'll start making the kale chiffonade. The recipe calls for 2 cups of kale. I like to pack it down. Then I'm going to take out, if you bought the pre-cut kale, get rid of anything that has a big stem. And what I'm going to do is I'll just take that piece and I'll pull the stem off, but keep the leaf. That's an example of the big stemmy things that I want removed from the kale. We don't want that much substance. We just want the leaves. Put it now in a bowl so I can sort it easily. Anything super big, I'll also tear. Looks like that. Perfect example. I want to get rid of that big old stem out of that leaf. Perfect example. I want to get rid of that big old stem out of that leaf. Okay, so again, see where it has that little P? That means it's still got 1 minute at pressure. P, pressure. Okay, so now notice it's beeping because we're down to 0. We're going to wait for it to count back up to 1. Notice to keep light, insignia is on, keep warm, insignia is on, as is the light. I'm going to get my heavy whipping cream ready, and there is my lovely kale. Okay, we've had a 10-minute natural release. Now it's time for us to let the rest of the pressure out. And boy, you're going to see a lot of steam. It's going to take a while. Here's the cat. Don't panic. You see a little water still coming out with the steam. And note, it's taken 3 minutes to let the steam and pressure out. We're not done yet. It's dropped. And it took about 4 minutes to get it out. We're going to take our pot out, and there's our soup. At this time, I now add in my kale. Stir it in until it wilts. Once the kale is wilted, you take your 1 cup of heavy cream and stir. And there you have it. I added about another 1/4 cup of cream because I did add extra broth, period. Soup is pretty forgiving. And we're about to dish it out. There you have it. Zuppa Toscana from start to finish. Ta-da!